Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Whoa, dude, what are you doing here?
I left my backpack.
Dude, I thought you were a bad guy. Or even a skinwalker. You know what? It's about time that we talk about handheld lights and weapon-mounted lights, and which one is better for target identification. Welcome to Classic Firearms, guys. Kai over here. And today we're going to talk about lights for defensive use purposes. Now, why is a light important? It is important because target identification in low light situation is paramount. Otherwise, the consequences could be devastating because we are responsible for every single round that we fire. So if you got a target and you can't see and you start firing in that direction, well, that's not good because you could potentially hit something that you don't intend to, or lose the position of an assailant or threat and get flanked, and that wouldn't be good either. Now imagine a scenario. You're at home, you're sleeping in the middle of the night, and you hear something, or you're in your warehouse or your business and you hear something or you see something and you want to go out there and investigate. You grab your pistol, but you don't have a light. How are you going to investigate that if you can't see it? It could be somebody, maybe not a threat. Because this happens, guys. People have mistakenly engaged somebody they thought was a threat, but they weren't. And that's not good. So a light is extremely important, right? So you probably are answering that you would rather have a light with you when you go out there and investigate something in the low light conditions. I certainly do. Now, with that being said, let's talk about lights and their use. In this case, I've got multiple different guns over here in front of me. And if you notice, they're all equipped, all but one, equipped with weapon-mounted light. In my opinion, a weapon-mounted light is the most optimal solution option when it comes to utilizing a light for defensive purposes. And why is that? Because you can manipulate this light with both hands while holding this gun, while you have a proper grip on the gun with both hands. And this is extremely important because it's super ergonomic, right? Bam, I can turn it on, turn it off on demand. And yet, if I start delivering some rounds downrange, the recoil impulse is going to be just fine because I'm holding this gun properly. I'm going to have a better follow-through, better recoil management, therefore more accurate shots downrange, which is extremely important in defensive situations, right? So if you actually had something handheld, you would have to use one hand, your support hand, to hold a light. And guess what? You're going to have one hand firing the gun and this hand holding the light, and it's just not going to be as effective. And we're going to get to the details. We're going to talk about some of the techniques with this. But before we get there, I'm going to try to address this first. And besides all that, besides having this proper grip, you're not always going to be able to use both hands while in a defensive situation. You may, God forbid, get hit, lose a limb, get hurt. You're not able to use one of your arms, strong or support. Or you may have to get your phone out and use your phone, call 911. Get your family behind you. Get furnitures out of the way. Or just simply open doors. You get the idea. You can use your support hand for something else while still utilizing this gun properly in the light properly. It just makes things so much easier. So, now some people may complain that, hey, you know what? It's heavier. It makes my gun heavier. It gives my gun a larger profile. I got to get a new holster. Well, guess what, guys? Benefits will outweigh those things that we just discussed. So yes, it's going to make your gun slightly heavier. It's going to make your gun slightly bigger. And yes, you'll have to spend extra $50, $100, whatever, get a new holster. But when it comes to your life, defensive situations, you don't want to go cheap on, all right? You don't want to be that guy who's got $3,000, $5,000 worth of AR in his safe, but yet you go super cheap on your defensive gun that you carry every day, that you try to protect yourself and others. Do not go cheap on that. Spend the money when it's worthwhile. So you get the idea when it comes to weapon-mounted light. Super, super important. Now, I've got multiple different options over here. In this case, this was SIG P365 with a TLR7 sub, which is proprietary to this rail. And TLR7 sub has a proprietary option for Glock as well, in this case Glock 43X over here. And they'll all have different light outputs, by the way, different candela, different lumens. And if you guys don't know the differences between candela and lumens, check out the description. We made a video a while back, and it explains the difference perfectly. Anyways, and I've got Smith & Wesson MMP9 Shield Plus over here with TLR6. Now this doesn't have a Picatinny rail. However, this specific light mounts the trigger guard, which is phenomenal. So if you don't have a gun that has a Picatinny rail, well, guess what? You've got these options as well. TLR6 over here, Beretta M9A3 with Surefire X300 over here, and lastly, Glock 45. This is Ryan's personal gun, Surefire Turbo over here. Now, they look exactly the same when you look at them, almost, right? Alike. However, X300 output is completely different than Surefire Turbo. Surefire Turbo, and I'm going to demonstrate this, maybe perhaps over here. If you look at it, it has a beam just straight up, that center beam. And you can manipulate this, by the way, just to show you guys it's different than TLR7. You can just press with your trigger finger or with your thumb. It turns on, turn off when you let go. If you want to turn it on completely, like on and stay on, just push it down or up. It's fully ambidextrous. Same with all of these. So anyways, going to it, it's got this straight beam. This is really good for outdoors, and it really gives you great range. And when it comes to Surefire X300, if you notice, it's just this flood. Now, this doesn't mean this is bad, by the way. It depends on what you need it for. Now, if you're going to use it for home defense purposes, a light for home defense purposes, and you go with something super bright like that, well, guess what you're going to do? You're going to light up the bad guy. You're going to light up your cat, your dogs, your neighbor's cat, your whole neighborhood, and yourself. It's going to be really, really bright and not good. Okay, we want that tactical advantage at all times so we can win that fight, right? We want to identify the bad guy, the threat, and we want to light them up. That's with a light. Well, if necessary, also with the other way too. You get the idea. Now, this is really good for inside. If I'm in my room and I just turn this on, I'm not going to backlight myself. It's not going to bounce off all over the place and light me up too. So make sure you know what you're using it for. That's extremely, extremely important. Now, you get the idea when it comes to weapon mounted light. That's my preferred option. It should be yours too. But if you're one of those guys and you don't want to use that, or you just don't want to entertain the option of weapon mounted light, you've got something without a gun without a weapon mounted light. You don't have that. In this case, American Precision Firearms with Speed 1 over here. There's no light, as you see. So, and you have one of those handheld lights, Cloud Defense in this case over here, FDE, pretty cool, nice sturdy little guy. There are different options. I'll give you 3 of them today. There are many other options, but these 3 are the most common out there, especially when I first became a police officer years ago, like 11 years ago. I didn't have a weapon mounted light initially at the academy, and they showed me these things, and some cops actually use it even on operations. I personally didn't like it. I personally didn't like these options, but they are options. It's better than nothing, right? Now let's talk about number 1. Number 1 will be the Harries technique. If you guys have seen any Hollywood movies or police officers, to this day, although weapon mounted lights are extremely popular now, and most police officers do use it, but there's still some cops out there, they don't utilize a weapon mounted light, and they utilize the old school stuff, which number 1 is going to be Harries style, and that is you use the gun with your strong hand, and you get yourself, again, as I said, Cloud Defense over here, and with a little thumb button over here to activate and deactivate, you put the gun, you basically rest your wrist over the other wrist, support hand wrist, and hold the light just like this, and go do your search. So you can just be searching, where's the sky, just like that, and turn it on and off. Now this is good because it's still going to illuminate your target, but you're gonna have this one hand, and when you fire this, and I've done this so many times because we had to qualify with all these in my police departments. When you fire this thing, this is what happens. Like, so your gun, it kicks more. Okay, it just does. You're not going to have this proper grip and control the gun this way with just one hand. It's just going to kick more. It's going to translate less accurate shots, slower follow-throughs, period. I don't care who you are, right? So there's that. This is Harries. So if you're one of those people, you don't have a weapon-mounted light, you could utilize a handheld flashlight and utilize it this way. That is it. Now, again, if you have to use your support hand for something, this light goes away, this arm goes away, and you cannot see. Just to think about that. Now moving on to number 2. Now there's Rogers technique. This Rogers technique was developed by an FBI agent a while back. It's just you're holding the flashlight, something just like that. It needs to have this rear thumb pressure pad, right? You have to have that or else Rogers technique is just not going to work as good. And you just, let me point this over here, use your palm to activate the light, just like that, while you're holding the gun. So, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm just doing this, searching it, and when I fire this gun, bang, bang, this light does turn off because that pressure, you lose that pressure a little bit due to recoil, and you lose that grip as well. Because the point of this is you're still trying to establish that two-handed grip somewhat. And kind of, I like it better than the Harries technique because I utilized this when I was qualifying. But still, you lose, you kind of lose this grip when you fire. But it's something right over here. So you just use the pressure. Bang, 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 bang. That is it. And number 3 is going to be the FBI's technique. Again, old school stuff. And it is, you turn this thing on. So you got your gun, turn it on, and you lift it up. And you do this. And the point of this is, in low light situations when you turn your lights on, the bad thing for you is, wherever the light beam is, that's where you are. So the bad guy can just simply point his gun or her gun at the light and fire. We've seen plenty of videos on YouTube and all over where police officers do turn their lights on and the bad guy shoots at the light and hits the police officer. It happens. That's why these options on these like TLR7s and Surefires and all whatnot, yeah, you see this, it's momentary right here. You just press, let go, press, let go. So bang, let go. That's good because you don't want your lights all the time on. Again, you're giving up your position. So there's that. So that's why we use this if you don't have it. So if the bad guy does fire his or her weapon, the bad guy is firing. Let me use, I don't want to point a gun at a camera, so I'm just going to use empty hand. The bad guy is firing at the light and hopefully missing your head on all that. These 3 options are options. There's something. If you don't have a weapon-mounted light, you can use a handheld light to utilize those techniques to identify your target in low light situations. That's what I know. Again, there's something, there are options, they're not optimal. The optimal would be weapon-mounted light all day long. What do you guys think? What's your experience when it comes to weapon-mounted lights or just utilizing light for defensive purposes? Has any of you ever been involved in any situation where you had to use your light and your light saved you? And what was that situation? I'd love to discuss this with you guys in the comment section. Anyways, I hope this video was helpful to you guys. If you guys have any questions, let us know in the comment section. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate your business. And until next video, take care.